know she said we in month in. For the show? Yeah. We on Nikki page or Nina Davis? Nina. You know yours and Nina. All of them. Why is so blurry? Sorry, just a little bit so I knew that trying to be in this camera. Is it on? Yeah. If you put it on the picture, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of lift it with the picture. Like lift the phone and lift it towards something. That was done, or is that too quick? Adjust it and then leave it like rubber band. I know what y'all mean. Left rubber band. This one? The triangle. Yeah. They love us like this. Hey, everybody. No. Yeah, is that? Am I in? Oh, wait a minute. Shut up. Mom, why is it doing that this time? Because we had to put it on Daddy. Y'all good? It's straight. No. Open it. Open it. Leave it this way. What? Okay. It's so funny how to do. Hey, everybody. Hold on, I'm trying to do something to my hair, y'all. A little different. Hey, guys. Hey, girl. How's everybody doing? Good. How's your fast lane? It's been fast. I have to agree with you on that. It's been busy. I'm still playing catch up from vacation and work and. You partied hard. You still catching up. You partied hard. Still catching up. But it's been a good week thus far. I mean, it's only Tuesday, but you know I've been blessed and highly favored. So hey. Can't nobody take that from me. You done say show? Mm-hmm. Got my shoulders moving. Hey. Blessed. What about you, Shanti? It's been a good week. How many got D.O.? I was about to say, yay, D.O.G. My baby is home. My baby is home, so we got him today from the She okay? From the shelter. He's good. Yeah, he was his regular self, which is always good. Okay. So it's excited to see you. Yes. So ready to be home. Kentrell didn't get him rabies in the house. He did not give him rabies. Thank God. Kentrell was clean. Say he was clean. But yeah. It was a good week though. Thanksgiving was good. It was nice. It was nice with the family. Let me say it again. Yes. Ooh, yes. That food was everything. Right. Well, I had to go. I ended up cooking Thanksgiving on Friday. Okay. After Thanksgiving. Yeah. Because I needed a little bit of everything. And I didn't quite get a little bit of everything on Thanksgiving. So I cooked on Friday. Got up 7 o'clock in the morning on my vacation, honey. Goodness. And slayed them pots. Won't play no games, honey. Anytime. I know Essential can feed you. If she don't do nothing else, she'll feed you. You love that. That's always good. I love the cling of pot, honey. Cling. Clang. Yes. Fry it up. Bake it up. Yes. Little bottle. So before we go into the podcast tonight, let's give our shout outs and things of that nature. Advertising. All right. I probably need some wine. Like the mood is very calm. It's mellow. Very mellow. Yeah. It is. It's surreal. Got some wine over here. Okay. Yeah. We got a quart? Oh no. We got a twist bottle. Okay. All right. Crack it. Get the cracking. Crack something like that. Yes. The announcements are as follows. Govern yourself accordingly. Yeah. I love that. Govern yourself. Do you guys have anything though? Before I start breaking down the check? I don't think I have anything. Yeah, no. People, can y'all post your New Year's Eve plans? Right. I don't know what to do. She was all day long on her phone like, I'm going to go here. I'm going to do this. This one to cause this one now. So post your plans if you're doing something. I just want to know. Maybe what the options are. I would love to be on a boat somewhere, so we'll see.
Hey,
I would love to be on a boat.
you know, don't play.
I'm trying to go on a rooftop.
Don't play.
Rooftop boat, something. I need something.
We can ride Spirit of Norfolk real quick.
You ain't said you got the right one.
Let's go. You know what? We're gonna find out.
All right, what's that?
Oh,
We can go on the Big M down in South Carolina.
I never even heard of that.
The Big M. Girl, the casino boat.
I'm ready.
How you doing?
I'm ready.
How you
I'm ready. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to be on a boat.
Did you just bring Wendy the podcast?
I did. Let her know. Son, tweet her. You know.
Oh,
We gonna let her know.
Okay, so plans in the making for the new year.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. I just love your voice.
Oh gosh,
She does have the broadcast.
Does she gives the
Tonight at 8 p.m. we have.
she's so upbeat. So when we're advertising, you have to do it because you're so upbeat with it. You
I
know.
love it.
Okay. Hyping hot podcast, the announcements.
Hi.
Govern yourself accordingly.
Oh,
It's like Sprite.
It was okay. Focus. Okay, so let me see. Pastor Barnwell, our friend to the show, friend to Bible High Podcast. His
our prayer covering.
Yeah, okay.
Prayers back on home.
Praise on home.
Praise on home.
Transformation Christian Church is having their revival. It is their end of year revival. It starts tomorrow the 6th. It's on the 7th and the 8th, 7 p.m. every night at their church, Transformation Christian Church on Westinghouse Boulevard. So please go support, get everything you need to get you ready for the new year.
And he said something about the new year too. What did he say?
Finishing the year with strong faith.
Yes, indeed.
Okay? This year has been crazy. And it's going to probably get a lot crazier.
We're not claiming that.
It's been doing some things.
Yeah, but we're not gonna claim it.
But end the year with faith. Finishing the year with strong faith. That's what we want to do.
I like
we want
that.
to take that into 2018.
Yeah.
Cover, we have to cover ourselves because ain't nobody else going to protect us.
Mm-hmm.
It's looking real crazy out here in the streets. But anyway, so revival at Transformation Christian Church. This Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 7 p.m. Okay? All are welcome. So please, if you have time, or if you need to make time, go. The book signing. We have 2 book signings coming up. Correct?
Yes.
We have 2 book signings coming up. One for Spice T's cousin. Is that right? What's the name of her book? Jay Wilkins. Okay. What's the book name? Do you know?
Yep. Didn't bring it tonight.
Okay.
Sorry.
We will post online, so please just keep up with us on the Facebook page and Instagram. We will post things online so that you all are aware. And then Pastor
Fit for
James
Life.
Barr will.
Fit for Life.
Life is the name of the book.
Possibly.
So we're having
I know
a
that's the
book
name of it.
signing. Okay.
Yeah. Something.
But Fit for Life, yes. And then also Pastor James Barnwell will be doing a book signing for him as well at Locks, Naturals, and More in Garner, 102 East Main Street. And we will definitely keep you all posted with dates and times and locations, okay? So that you all are very aware of what we have going on. Just a little plug for my friends, Delta Biscuit Company. That is going to be coming soon. This food truck is trying to raise as much money as possible to go ahead and get that truck on the road. And I will post information on Instagram and share it to Facebook as well. So you all have that info.
You forgot the very first plug on the top of the list.
You want to start some more?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, just the salon in general?
Duh.
Where we work. How we pay the bills. Locks, Naturals, and More Natural Hair Care Salon and Academy coming soon. Please come through and we will take care of all your needs. We are a full service salon. So don't think just because it's called Locks, Naturals, don't forget the More. The More is everything.
Yes.
We have talented stylists, cosmetologist, colorist, Miss Spice T will hook up your color for you. And she does all chemical services, so relaxers, things of that nature. So
And
anything you
LG
need.
Styles, Keisha Gilbert.
LG Styles, Lakeisha Gilbert.
And
is also
Butterfly,
another
Miss
cosmetologist.
Mouse.
Miss Mouse, cosmetologist as well. So we are a full service salon. Anything you need, you can get done at Locks, Naturals, and more. And the new website is coming soon too, so we gotta keep posting on that. Yeah, we did.
And the Waterworth Group.
And the Waterworth Group.
For home
Real
buying.
tea.
All of your home buying services.
All of your home buying needs.
All
Yeah,
right.
2018. We need some keys.
Hey.
I got
Let's get it.
Oh, sorry.
Hey.
All right, guys. So y'all know what it is. This is our second Speak Out story. In the building with us, as always, though, we have Miss Eccentric T. So as we asked you guys last week, send your love, send your prayers, send your courage, and send your strength, and stand by and listen. We're not taking phone calls tonight. We're just hearing the story. She has the mic. If she needs some time to step away, we'll go to commercial.
But your comments are welcome.
Comments are definitely welcome.
But let's keep our minds open,
Yes.
our hearts open, and judgment, leave it at the door.
Yeah.
Please.
Leave it. There's no room for that.
There's no room for that. Your opinion doesn't matter.
Right.
Go ahead.
Get started. Are you going?
Do you want to play one of your songs that you're
Oh,
trying
yeah,
to
we can wait.
We can wait? Well,
wait.
baby.
Right. Well.
Yeah, we're gonna follow your lead tonight.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
so,
right.
you know, you were in control. I know you like that.
So, last week, let's start off by saying sexual assault is the wide range. I didn't bring my homework back with me to read the definition, but it's a wide range of things involved in those two words. Tonight specifically, we're talking about molestation. And I don't like to say a victim of it, but it was I am definitely a survivor. I'm trying to see how to start. I guess basically, I'm going to say a close family member, very, very close family member, someone that I trusted, someone that I thought was supposed to protect me, someone that I thought wouldn't steer me wrong, wouldn't give me wrong or false information about life, someone I looked up to, someone I would trust my life with. From the age I probably maybe don't remember to guesstimation 10, 11, somewhere around there. And it's been hard to rethink or relive, because it's like reliving, to remember things that I've tried. I can't speak for anybody else, that I've basically tried to suppress. And I know better. You should not suppress it. You need to get it out. You need to let it go. You need to get some kind of closure with it. And I do feel like I have now. But it's been a very long process, and it will continue to be a long process. But back to, when I can't say when it began, because like I said, it could have been before I can remember. But when I start to remember, my situation was a lot of manipulation, coercion, saying things like, this is how you show someone you love them. This is an experience that all girls your age experience with someone close to them. But you don't talk about it. And that was constantly reiterated. You don't talk about it. You don't tell anyone, especially you don't tell your mother. She'll get upset, and she won't believe you. But she had the same experience herself. Although through experiences I felt deep down that just wasn't right, didn't seem right, didn't like it. It continued to happen. Always when mom left the house. There were times where I would hide. We had a really big house, so there was times where I would hide in the house. But there was other times, you know, I couldn't hide. I might be asleep, or waking up out of my sleep. Started off maybe with the heavy touching, heavy petting. There was never actually penetration. There was some oral involved. And it was always being reminded that this was okay. You know, relax, this is okay, this is natural, this is what everyone has experienced. So you get through it until the next time. And there was always a next time. Oddly, I don't think there was ever a time I wanted to tell my mom, for fear of getting in trouble, for fear of not being believed. I acted out. I think it was my way for screaming for help. But in my mom's defense, you know, she was a stay-at-home mom. And she did everything she could for us as children. I was the only girl and the youngest. My brothers were 11 and 9 years older than me. So they were like in high school, you know, into their sports, and I was usually the one home. A lot of times I like to say I felt like an only child. Okay. Because I was a lot younger, and they were already starting to begin their lives. I was the little one. Was very close with my younger brother, but not close enough to where I felt like I could share. I just kept it inside. I just kept it inside. I did get to an age where I said no. Okay. It just blurted out, no. And it stopped. Okay. And for me, it was like, wow. All along, I could have just said no, and it would stop. So some more years, not long, maybe a year went by. At this point, I began to get promiscuous and started to be active at a very young age, at like 12. And I now realize that it was because I was exposed to so much that I guess that's why I was engaging in those types of behaviors. The acting out got worse to the point where how my mom came to know. I had a girlfriend come spend the night, and my parents had went out, and we had boys over. Some extracurricular activities took place. We got back to school the next day. You know, back in the day, we had one sheet of paper, and we passed it back and forth and write notes on it. Well, we were talking about, you know, the weekend and things that we had done and different things, and she left a note in her coat pocket, and it was her mom's coat. Oh. So her mom found a note, came to our house, and, you know, of course she's irate because she was left in my parents' care and all these things had taken place. So, of course, my mom was extremely upset. And she brought the letter to me and asked me to read it. And I'm like, I can't.
Your mom did?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I said, I can't read those words. You know, she said, you wrote it, you read it. So I read the whole note, very embarrassed. Very ashamed, and her question was, you know, well, have you done this with anyone else? And I said, I don't remember my first initial response, but I remember saying, well, you know. She kind of just looked at me like, I said, you know, the experience that you had with, you know, your family member that you don't talk about. You know, it's a secret. You don't talk about it, but it's how you show people you love them, how you show your love. And she's still looking at me,
Right.
what are you talking about? And I'm like, come on, Ma, you know, don't make me say it, basically, but you know what I'm talking about. And finally she's like, no, explain this to me. So I went through explaining it, who it was. I won't say initially it was, you're lying. I never heard those words from my mom. I never heard those words come out my mother's mouth. But because of who it was a lot for her to take in. And she went through the proper steps. We went to the hospital. We went to where they evaluate you. And they definitely told her, you know, some things have happened to her. Although you found out this way, she's definitely been through some things. So, you know, I suggest you take it a step further. And she did. I will say this, once she knew, she removed me from the situation and got me as far away from the person that possibly could be. We went to the grand jury. They found him guilty. He did serve a little jail time, got out. It was almost 2 years before the trial was going to come around. During this time, during the 2 years time, it was torture for her, having to, you know, take care of us, and after, you know, being a stay-at-home mom and not having to work, she was now left to, you know, take care of us, and there was a lot of family that was not supportive and that said, you know, oh, she's lying, or, you know, that separated themselves. Our family kind of broke up. It was just a mess because it was a family member, and we became divided. Almost time for trial to roll around, and my older brother had approached the person to kill him, to, you know, attack him. And they basically said, you know, I'm sorry, I have a problem. That was enough for him to say, you know, he did it. So my mom said we could stay here and fight and continue to endure all the trauma that was surrounding us with family, or we can move away and start over where nobody knows your story. I felt like she needed that. I needed that. So I agreed that that's what we should do. And she did, and we moved here. Because I was left so scarred and damaged, I didn't know what to do with all that. Before we left, she did try to put me in some treatment and counseling, and where I met other girls who, I met one girl, and I think I talked about this in some of our earlier shows, where she had 2 children by her father. And it made me think, God, my situation wasn't that bad. You know, how can she, you know, wow. And she had the children, they were in her care. And there were other girls there who had been through some things. And it was just hard to, it was good because I realized I wasn't the only one. But it was hard to learn what to do with how I was feeling, that I was told everything wrong. I was taught everything wrong. Everything. Everything that I believed to be true is not true. And how do you reconstruct yourself or relearn how to, what's right? Really, what's right? I didn't know what was right from wrong anymore. So we moved here. Mom thinking that, okay, I'll give her a new start, where nobody knows her story. She can start over. We don't have any, family surrounding us that, could hurt her anymore. Verbally, verbally abuse her or say anything hurtful to her or treat her in any, way harmful. It was the best thing she could do for me. But I came here and my behavior was awful. Like, she couldn't have a life. She had to watch me 24/7. If I wasn't going to sneak out, I was going to sneak somebody in. I mean, it was just, I was just wild. Got pregnant at 13, got pregnant at 16. The one rule in her house was, we don't do babies. And of course, then I didn't understand, but now as a grown woman, I really appreciate her taking the proper steps to try to salvage my teenage years and not go through what she went through having my brother at 16. Over time, I became angry. I no longer had in touch with the person who had molested me, but I became so angry and so defensive, and so anybody that looked at me wrong or I even thought all I knew how to do was fight. Just fight. And also, back to when I was going through the molestation, I was bought things. I was taken out of school to go to amusement parks. Anything I wanted or even looked at or wished for, I had it. So I think that behavior or those things taught me, well, if I give someone a part of me, I can have what I want. So I went through a little phase of that. And I was in destruction mode. When I think back during that time and everything I put my mom through, and all she tried to do was make a better life for me and her. And I think also maybe her having some guilt. I can't speak for her, but she tried to do everything she could. But I was gone. I was another person. I didn't like what I was doing. I didn't like who I at the time was becoming. But I guess just like I suppressed bad things before, I just, keep suppressing them and keep pushing on. It was my world. You just lived in it. I had nightmares. I still have them, but not as bad. I didn't like to be touched, whether it was affectionate-wise or just somebody just, I didn't like to be touched. The fighting, I guess, only thing I could think was the anger because I was so mad at myself. I started to hate myself. I didn't like who I was when I looked in the mirror. I felt dirty. I always remember my mom saying, you just take so many showers, and I always try to wash it away. You could wash off the outer layer, but it was deep down. I was taken advantage of, even, you know, in the teenage years. So then, I did a 360, and my focus was to show my mom I could be a good girl. I just wanted to be a good girl. So I started following the rules. Before attempting to take my life. I have to say that because I did get to a point where I just didn't want to be here anymore. I think Spice can relate to this story. I had took a bottle of Bear aspirin. And my mom had already called the hospital and found out it was just going to make me really, really sick, but I didn't know. So I called Spice and her sister, come get me, take me to the hospital. They got to the door and my mom was like, she's not going nowhere. And she literally let me suffer it out a whole weekend of throwing up, and throwing up, and throwing up. That was the first time. But I got better. You know, I would follow rules. I met curfew. I ended up graduating high school. That was a slippery slope. Met a boy who, of course, at the time I thought was my world. And got pregnant. But at this time, I had moved out of my home with my mom. And I was doing good, had my whole future kind of planned out for me, and then I met a boy. And it goes along with the first song we're going to play when we take a break. Thought they were my everything, high school sweetheart, the whole 9 yards. Got pregnant right after graduation, about 6 months after I graduated. Was living with a wonderful family. I left home. I didn't get put out. That's the story I think they had got at one time. I did not get put out. I left home. Because I wanted to be a free bird. I had a little job. I had a new car. Felt like I was grown and I could do it on my own. Moved in with a wonderful family that took me in with open arms. And went through this pregnancy with this boy. And I keep using the term boy because that's what he was. It was rough. Wasn't what I thought it was going to be. You know, wasn't the image that I thought it would be. Had my child. But at this point now, I want to be the best mother I could be. But I became kind of overly obsessed, which you can never be obsessed over your children, but obsessed with protecting him. No one was allowed to keep him but my mother. If she couldn't do it, nobody, could keep him. Even when his dad and I got our own place, he could be in there giving him a bath, and if I heard him yell out or any kind of strange noise, I was in there. And he's just like, really, Toya, you think everybody was a predator to me. You, anybody was a predator to me. Then I started working for children. I felt like, that was my goal in life, to protect kids, become an advocate for children. And I did that for 20 years. I raised little Bree over there. And I had a second child, and I was just as protective, if not more, over him. My kids were... My oldest he finally was like 12, like, Mom, you gotta let me spend the night with a friend. Like, you gotta let me branch off and be me. And that within time, I gradually started to. But now in my 20s, I'm haunted. I'm haunted. I'm still fighting. I'm still arguing with people. I'm still mean. I'm depressed. I gained a lot of weight. Food became my comfort. My 20s weren't my best, weren't great years. I was very tormented at that time with hate, with anxiety, with depression. Still never really dealt with what had happened and by whom it happened. And still no contact with this person. But I'm hearing that this person is sick, and I'm torn with, you know, God forbid if they were to pass. I never got to say the things that I would like to have said, or I didn't get it out. You know, there's some things I want to say, you know, and probably then felt like it's some things I wanted to do to her. You know, I'm now divorced, but a lot of things I could say is that that man, we'll call him a man now, he was a boy at first, that man took a lot in 20 years that I know a lot of people couldn't take. I was a force to be reckoned with, and I didn't like that person. One thing I could say, when I did finally start going to counseling as an older adult, oh Lord, was that I know some other people that have gone through what I went through, and they turn to drugs, they turn to prostitution, or they became predators themselves, turn to alcohol. I never turned to any of those things. I turned to food. I turned to fighting, argumentative, mean, just mean person. I spoke with my hands. That to me was the only way to resolve things. Man, woman, you know, I didn't care. I went to counseling for the first time as an adult, and the doctor said to me after I told my story, and I didn't go into gory details with you guys tonight, that's a bit much. And she said, I don't know how you're sitting in front of me now and you're saying it. Anybody that could tell somebody some of the things that you told me that you had to do. And be sitting here now and not be addicted to anything other than food. You're a strong individual. You know? And that came from my mom constantly telling me you don't show weakness. You're Wanda's child. You're strong. But as strong as I could portray myself to be on the inside, just like mesh. But on the outside, you stand up. You hold your head up. So, I got through counseling, and I started to see a change. I'm still working on loving myself. I'm still working on what Toya likes and what Toya wants. Because over time, it was what my kids needed, what my ex-husband needed, what my mom needed, what everybody. It made me happy to make someone else happy. It was never about my happiness. I needed to make someone else happy for me to feel happy. And I still can't explain that to this day, why that was so important. And I still carry some of that now. It brings joy to my heart to feed someone. It brings joy to my heart to be able to help someone. And I think sometimes it's because I wanted somebody to do that for me. I could be in a room full of people sometimes and feel so alone. And you constantly battle that. You constantly battle that. You constantly battle telling yourself you're not alone. You constantly battle telling yourself you're not a victim. My truth is my truth. And no one can take that from me. I hold no more guilt. I hold no more shame. It was not my fault. He was not allowed to take my innocence. He was not allowed to take my childhood. He was not allowed to hurt me. No one is allowed to hurt me. Not anymore. I come to you tonight not only to tell my story, but in hopes to help just one. At least one. Find someone and tell someone if someone is hurting you. Mom, I love you, but no one talked to me. No one told me about inappropriate touching. When I got my cycle, I didn't get the birds and the bees talk. I was told, you can have babies now. Everything I learned about sex, everything I learned about anything surrounding that, I learned from the streets. I learned from watching TV or some book I read. We didn't have the internet back then. I did not know. Talk to your children. Have those inappropriate conversations with your kids. I know some of you moms and some dads have no choice but to leave your kids with other people. And I'm not speaking on daycare. I'm speaking on family members or a friend. If you have to do that, talk to your kids. Stop leaving your kids any and everywhere. But if you have to, talk to your children. Ask them the inappropriate questions. Or the uncomfortable questions, I'm sorry. Talk to them about inappropriate touching. Talk to them about their private areas. Talk to them about how no one is supposed to touch them. I thought about this all day. All day. I've been texting the girls all day. Been talking to my cousin all day. I talked to my significant other about this choice and about sharing my story. And I'll even go a step further in talking about forgiveness. There came a time after 13 years that the person that took my innocence from me showed up. And asked me for my forgiveness. Forgiveness is for you, not for them. I'll say it again. Forgiveness is for you, not for them. I needed to forgive to start to heal. When I decided to forgive this person, a weight that I had been carrying for 25 years. Oh, the weight that lifted off of my shoulders just from forgiving someone. It's taken 10 years from that 13, so now 23 years to where I can be in the same vicinity with them and laugh and rebuild. And there's uncomfortable moments for me. I can't speak for them, but it's uncomfortable moments for me. But I remind myself that I made the decision to forgive because they're getting up in age and their health is not great. And I know that they've suffered. But once again, that's just who I am. I'm a forgiving person. But that's why I stay blessed. That's why I keep my faith strong. And I may not go to church every Sunday like, some other people, but my faith in God is very strong. So when I hear people say, oh, I would have did this, you should have did that, or are you going to say this, or are you going to say that, or how do you talk about it, or how do you be around that person, or how do you this, how you that, until you walk a step, not a mile, till you walk a step in my shoes, don't begin to form an opinion about what you should have, would have, could have did. It takes too much energy to hold anger and hurt and malice. It took too much energy from me. It took 13 years of my life holding all that anger, fighting, being mean. That aged me. It gave me health problems. I had high blood pressure, diabetes, all at the same time. It was too much. Now at 43 years old, not too long ago, starting life over again with someone I shared my story with and that cherished that story and dealt with that other person that I strive every day not to become again. This is something I'll carry for the rest of my life, but I will not be a victim of it. I will not be a slave to what happened to me. won't allow it to not let me love. But what I will allow it to do is allow me to help others be heard, help others speak out. Tell someone, if you're watching this right now and you're going through anything of what I've described, if you feel like it's not right, if you know it's not right, if you're not sure that something happened to you is not right, I open my phone up to you, my inbox to you, my email, whatever you need, and I will hold your hand and walk with you. You're not alone. I felt alone for a long time. Even though I knew I wasn't. My mom was right there with me. There's so much support. It'll be hard. I'm a big girl. I put my big girl panties on. And I go out here and I go to work. And I associate with my girls. And I party. And I go to my functions. And I live life. However long I have left. And I'm going to enjoy it. I was a child. And that little girl's still in there. But I'd like to say that she's not hiding under the stairwell anymore. I'd like to say that she's free of that fear. She's free of that feeling of being alone. And I also feel that she knows the grown-up me knows what real love is now. And knows how to show it appropriately. And that her body is her temple. And it belongs to her. And it's only for her to give. This is my story. This is my truth. And I live in it. I love you, Mommy. She's right here, like always.
Yeah. We love you, Miss Wanda. Thank you so
Miss
much.
Wanda. I want to say to your mom, thank you for taking action.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many situations where people don't. Either they ignore it, they brush it under the rug, they blame the child. There are so many instances where this is done wrong. You know, people don't handle it appropriately. So, Miss Wanda, I thank you for handling that situation and taking action and not letting grass grow under your feet. You know what I mean? Moving.
Yeah. She said I would kill for Toya. I know that's right, because I killed for mine. Oh. Oh.
So much.
And we know you had to be just as strong, just as brave. And Miss Wonder, we know you have to live with it every day. So we send our love, hugs, and all these hearts that came through tonight, we send them your way as well. Because we know it had to take a toll on you as a mother to watch your daughter endure that and have to go through that, and even now having to live through it. So you both are our heroes.
For her, I really call her the MVP and the Superwoman. I mean, woman, hell. And she never once, you know, I can't do it. Or sent me away, you know, lock me up somewhere, or never once. She stuck in there. I was a teenager from hell. I think she just understood where it was coming from. And she went to some counseling. She went to some, I'm not going to say it was counseling, but she was given some tips to try to handle me and what I was going through. And it was amazing. I have to say this, and it's a funny. Every time I would act out and do something crazy or wild, grown, fresh, she'd buy me a gift. And I'm just like, why is she buying me stuff and I'm acting up? But that was one of the steps they had told her to do. You know, continue to show her positiveness and not lash out where, you know, when your kids act up, you want to go in on them. She didn't. And I was like, this woman crazy. And I think that eventually started to work because, like I said, I did a 360 on my own. Just all of a sudden, my drive was to prove to her I can be a good girl. You know, I can be a good girl. And I tried everything I could, always, even through, you know, getting married and having children. You know, I can be a good mama. Right. I could be, you know, this, that, and the third. And I did.
I said, you're the best child I got.
Well, I was raised different. I was raised different from the other two. But thank you, Mom. Thank you.
Oh, man. That was awesome, Toya. You are a courageous warrior princess.
I just hope somebody is able to take something from it. Yes. That was my purpose. And, you know, both of you know as well, there was some anxiety all week of, you know, is she gonna do it? Maybe she'll change her mind. Nah, she good today. All the way up until the last 45 minutes before I came in tonight.
Up until the last 8 minutes when we all looked at the clock like, where's she at?
Yeah.
Real Toya?
Yeah, really?
For real?
Yeah. You're right. Thank you, everybody, for all the love. I haven't got a chance to read, but I can see the hearts flying.
We read all this.
Thank you for the support.
You finna read all these, man? We can.
It's up to y'all.
Go
Do y'all want to play a song though first?
Yeah.
One of LaToya's picks.
Yeah, I picked 3 songs for tonight.
Play first. Play something, then let's read.
Not the slow one. It was a.
Tribe Called
Quest.
That one.
Yeah.
Oh.
You can get with this. You can get
Oh
with
wait,
that.
no, that's the other one. Sorry.
Wait. No, what was Tribe Called Quest? That was somebody else. What was the other one? What was the other one?
Relaxation.
Yeah, relaxation. That's it. Yeah.
That's my era.
Yeah.
That's Idlewood.
Somebody said no. Don't read all that. Do it later.
Thank you, Derek. That's not for me. That's not for me. For real.
But that was some really good.
Relax yourself.
You can read them later in your own time.
I will.
So much support.
Turn it up.
Girl.
Turn it up.
Honey, check it out, you got me mesmerized. Your black hair and your fat ass style. Street poetry is my everyday. You wanna stop when you drive away. If I was working at the club, you would not pay. You don't want me to fight,
Come on, let's dance. Y'all remember what we said about Grey's Anatomy? They danced it out.
Hey, put the wop on them. You know, I thought about how would it end, and I did not think I'd end smiling. I did not think I'd end feeling this good.
You were so resilient though. Like, I didn't think it would be the other way. I mean, I'm sure you know there's going to be tears. But you're amazing. Both of y'all.
He said no drinks, and what's next? Switch. You don't like the song? Switch.
Who said that? He's too young. Y'all not married.
Y'all gotta leave my Jody alone.
Jody too young for that era. He was still in kindergarten.
Oh, he said I'm talking about the combo. Oh, that was all for tonight. It was just sad.
My dad, he's still my homie.
Yeah, he said, actually, that's my shit, nigga.
Well, that was it, yeah. He got an old soul.
Hey, Steph. Hey, Tim. Hey, everybody. Why you look at me, cuz?
Yo, Stephanie is the bomb. She said a lot of good stuff too.
That's my baby. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike watching me, but good when you read this. We love you, Stephanie. I pray you watch it.
Yes. I done rang her phone today, too.
But so many people are just so proud of you.
Yes.
Like, that's consistent.
Thank
Love
you so much.
We're proud of you. You're telling my story. Someone.
Oh, wow.
She said your boy.
What'd he do?
Jody.
Rachel, call me if you need to, babe. Oh, wow. Everybody got a story, babe. Ain't that it? Thank you, Sharna. Oh, my goodness. It's so much love.
So much love.
I'm gonna have some hang time when they look.
Oh, look at babe. Y'all send some hearts. It takes a bigger heart to want to help somebody else telling your story real tough.
Don't make this what you need to say. Who she got to?
I don't know.
I know. It was hard telling him about it the first time.
Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in.
That's right.
Here we have another brave soul standing up, speaking out. We pray that it changes lives. We pray that we have some more people. We have 2 more weeks left with open mic. So, you know, I've seen a lot of you guys, saying that you have the same story. Come talk about it. You know, get it off. I'm telling y'all, these mics are the biggest show that you could ever have. It's something about speaking out and letting the world hear your story that it just frees you up. Like, I know Eccentric can agree that it's just like another load of bricks that came off again. You know, they came off the first time you spoke out. They come off every time you shed a tear about it. But every time you tell that story, you get a little bit stronger. And I know you got this strong.
Yeah.
So thank you guys again. We love you all. Keep supporting us. Stephanie, you are truly the daggone. You the MVP when it comes to our followers for real. We love you, man.
She been with us since day one.
I'm telling you since day one. I need to meet you in person for real. So she in Jersey?
No,
Oh,
with
she in
the
Raleigh?
Salem.
Oh, you close enough. You need to take that trip and come on holler at us. But thank you all. You all are very important.
Everybody.
We love all of you guys. I can't thank you enough. Please tell somebody to write in, call, anonymously, whatever they need to do. But speak out, man. I'm telling you. And another great point that Eccentric made, talk to your kids. Talk to your kids and let them know that it's not okay. Tell them about the birds and the bees. Our Daughter's Keeper are doing something coming up before the year ends. Yeah.
We talked about that. We
No.
haven't.
We haven't. I promise we'll bring it in. Because what I don't want to do, and this is, let me just put this out there. We have a set number of girls, and when we first put it out, we got a lot of inboxes of people saying let me know the next time. And we can only put in a child when the slot opens up.
Right.
You know, because it's only 3 of us right now that's doing it, and we want to make sure we can give all these girls some attention. And when I tell y'all they need it, you would be surprised in 3 meetings with these girls the stories that we've had already. You know what I'm saying? So it's just about changing lives. I wish you guys, there's some brothers out there that would step up and let's do an Our Sons Keeper. Like, come on, get on board, because some of these people out here don't know how to parent. They don't have time to parent. They don't want to parent. And let's do that. Let's be the village. Let's be the community that they need to step up and love on these kids and show them a better way. I wish I had a keeper at 3104 and 3108 in Idlewood, but just because I didn't don't mean I can't be one. So step up, tell your story, speak out, spread your love, because somebody can be there. That's for sure. Peace.
And I meant what I said. My inbox is open. However you feel the need to reach me, I hold your hand and I walk with you.
She got strong grip too.
Strong grip. Thank you.
Good night. We love you.
Bye, y'all.